I'm Shelby from Film East, and today I'm joined with Jamie Weston, the director of the Norwich Film Festival nominated short Wings. So your film is nominated in the East Anglian category, so obviously you have a relationship with this region. Firstly, can you tell us about your working and personal relationship with East Anglia, and what makes it such a special place to film?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. We filmed specifically actually in Clacton and Colchester, two of the big filming locations. But in other films before, normally do a lot of filming in sort of like the Colchester area, sometimes in Ipswich, and then sort of like moving upwards. I think in Ipswich and at the studios is also like a kind of a big hotspot for a lot of filming. One of the great things I think about filming in the area, well, I mean, firstly, the town councils are quite supportive, as is on the websites of the town councils. They often just say you're completely allowed to film. It's quite easy to get permissions to do certain things. I mean, some of my early stuff we had guns in, and you just phone up or just say, "Hey, I'm filming this," and it was like, "Cool, great, go for it," or filming drones in towns is often, very difficult, but the town council seem you sort of, you sort of develop a good relationship with them, and they're often, very up for that sort of thing. So, as long as you've got all the licenses and the, and all your forms and everything done, you can easily get in touch with people and just start filming.
Yeah.
And there's some great locations. It's a really diverse place. There's, you've got all the outside stuff, you've got all the more city stuff that you can film in. You're still close enough to London, so you can get London crew, London-based actors, but you're only, maximum of like 2 hours out. Even if you go all the way up to Norwich, it doesn't take that long to get from central London up to Norwich, or even up to Ipswich or Colchester or Chelmsford, or like the whole area is really easy to get to and really easy to film in.
Yeah, there has been a lot of people that I've spoken to who are like, it's definitely a big region that's building up for filmmaking. So we're a group that provides support for young people across Norwich and Norfolk, and we're interested in people who are interested in starting a career in film or just have a passion for the cinema. So what would be the one piece of advice you would want to give to a young person, particularly maybe based in East Anglia, who is interested in getting into the industry?
I think the biggest, best advice you can probably give is just jump in with 2 feet and go and make something. Everyone has access to a mobile phone, and as long as it's got a video camera that can, do at least 1080p, so you can watch it on the screen in full resolution, you've got yourself a camera that's good enough to make a movie. Okay, you're going to need lots of other things, sure, but like fundamentally, you just need something to film it, okay, and something to capture the audio. And whether you're capturing the audio straight on here, or whether you're using, like another phone device with a recorder on, and then you've sort of hidden a little mic up the side behind someone's shirt to get some slightly better audio. There you go. There's stuff on. I mean, I learned how to do a lot of it by just, jumping in and meeting with a film group.
Yeah.
I think I started when I was 23, so I was in my final year of university, and I was doing drama, so nothing to do with filmmaking. And I just found out there was some local film groups nearby, and I just started hanging out with them and watching them and helping out and learning on the job, and then watching YouTube videos, and then just trying things out myself, and just sort of, you make a lot of mistakes, and then eventually you sort of learn how to do it properly.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier about the BFI Film Academy, which you helped to run, which is also a great resource for anyone who is interested in getting like more skills and like how to start making films.
Yeah, exactly. It's 16 to 19-year-olds now, and there's I think there is 40 or 50 academies across the entire country, so it doesn't matter where you're based. There always will be a local film academy, and a lot of them run from September normally to like maybe April, May sort of time during the year. So every different area will have a different one, and you can sign up to go on there, and you learn everything from writing, directing, cinematography, audio recording. You get to meet loads of other filmmakers who are like getting up there, and then you get to meet all these really cool people. And at the end of the course, When you sort of graduate, you become an alumni who then can then apply for the residential stage of the BFI Academy. And then if you go on them and you do really well, and they'll be like, God, this woman's really awesome at, you know, directing or whatever, they'll handpick you out and stick you on a, you know, a big budget movie as an intern. It's a direct approach, and there's loads of things like that that are currently running. So just going on onto the BFI website, signing up, looking at that sort of stuff, having a look on websites like Screen Skills is a really good one, signing up to websites like Mandy, or going onto Facebook and then finding other filmmaking groups that are local to you, and just saying, hey, I'm getting into it, what do I need to do? Everyone in the industry, if you ask, they're normally pretty, I mean, 9 times out of 10, people will just be like, hey, yeah, cool, excellent to find a new person that's in, you know, into our hobby too. This is what you need to do. So just ask, I think.
Yeah. All right, so we can move on to Wings now, which is your short. I found it to be a very beautiful film that's about queer love in a war-torn Britain. So what made you interested in telling this story, and particularly telling it through this lens of 1940s up until present day?
Yeah, so it's I think fundamentally I was working on a documentary back quite a few years ago, sort of Heritage Lottery funded doc about Essex girls and how we're sort of changing the stigma to the term Essex girls. You know, I was looking at stuff like, you know, the sacking of Colchester by Boudicca, and the women's equal pay rights up in the, you know, during the Dagenham riots and witch trials, and then part of it also was the Land Army, you know, the British Land Army, the Land Girls. And what I realised is I didn't really know much about this. You know, everyone's heard about the witches, and they've heard, well, if you're local to this area, you've probably heard about Boudicca, you know, coming with their Iceni and killing all the Romans. You probably heard them sort of stories. I've never heard anything about the Land Girls. I hadn't really seen anything about Land Girls on TV. I hadn't really seen any films that involved Land Girls. There's been a couple, but nothing much. And the First and Second World War is, you know, a big thing. There's war movies all the time, right? You're always seeing blokes in trenches shooting Nazis, right? What about everything else that happened at home? So I was sort of thinking that must have been a, you know, really liberating time. It was, yeah, it was not too long as well in terms of, you know, when we think about now and that suffragette movements, you know, it's ages ago, Victorian time, right? But we're talking about 1940, it was only like 40 years after the Victorian time sort of finished. So it was quite new, all this idea of the sort of pro-women's movement. And yeah, I just thought, wow, it's a really interesting thing to explore. I want to look into it more, and just had this idea of, I don't know why, but just had this idea of 2 women looking across the haystacks as they were, you know, working, and sort of that first look of like falling in love, really. And then it was sort of stuck in my head for a long time and didn't really go anywhere, because I didn't really know what to do with this image. And eventually the story just started piecing it together over the months in my head, and then one day I just thought, oh, that's an idea, that's how it ends. And then I just typed it up, and yeah, and then I had the script.
Oh, awesome. So if anyone watches the film, they'll notice that it's predominantly silent, except for music. So you don't have much dialogue. Instead, we're sort of taking on this journey with these women through visual means. It's sort of, I felt it more like sort of theater or like a silent film. So what was the idea behind keeping it mostly silent throughout the film, and being able to witness this tender love story unfold without actually any words?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that kind of led to it. The first one was that I'd just done, I think like 3 features, and obviously they have a lot of dialogue in. So like, I was like, I've done like, if you add them all together, that's like 6 hours worth of dialogue. I was like, I just want to make a film that's different, something that's quite nice, and I don't want to have to, you know, worry about sound and all this writing dialogue. I just want to tell the story through visuals and have something that looks really pretty. So it was kind of just being a bit tired of doing lots of dialogue, heavy dialogue based stuff for a while. And then also, when I was just imagining the film in my head, I just had this idea of, you know, seeing these people and seeing this sort of life go by. And at which point I was like trying to think of, well, what other films can I reference? What other films can I think of where that's been done well? Like, how could I structure it? Because you're thinking it takes place over such a long time, and you want to keep it as a short film. I mean, even it's 18 minutes, which is quite long for a short film anyway. So I was like, how can you tighten this down? And I was thinking of, and I remembered the introduction to the film Up, which is, one of the greatest little mini short film things ever. And I was like, oh yeah, look, it's all just told through this visual sort of medium of storytelling, right? So they don't need the dialogue. So I think I sort of thought about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that. Now I should think about, how they've done that, and then use that as a starting point to drive this.
Awesome. Yeah, that sequence in Up is actually it is probably one of the best sequences. All right, so your film explores how queerness has changed and become appreciated in society over the decades. And unlike a lot of other queer films, it ends with a happy ending, and it's a very lovely happy ending. So what do you hope young queer people will take away from watching your short?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of people have said that, how it's really nice to see like a happy ending. I think I was just thinking how often you see films and they just have really bleak endings, right? Every sort of film, you're just left feeling like, geez, did I really want to see that? I just sort of sat here for 2 hours, and now I just feel like I need to sort of question my existence for a little while. And I just thought, it's quite nice sometimes just to have something that's quite positive and nice, and it's just like, what happens? Oh no, they just get engaged, or they just get married, and it is a nice ending, and that's fine. It's sometimes nice just to not have to have everybody dead at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And just absolute terror sometimes. And actually, the ironic thing is, it's almost like playing against expectations. The weird idea of having a film that's actually quite nice is playing against expectations, and people are like, oh no, it was all fine, it was all good. I didn't feel like I was a downer. And I think to take away from it, I feel like it's, in a way, we sort of felt like it's important because it's given a voice to those who maybe didn't have a voice then, and it's sort of saying you should feel accepted, or at least today there's the world. Okay, it's not different everywhere, right? But I feel like we've gone far enough, we've gone further enough in quite a few steps for hopefully people to feel like they can come out and they will be accepted. And even if they're not accepted within their direct surroundings, there's a huge community and huge amount of other support around the entire world for the queer community who will have their backs. I feel like that's where we're at in the time, which was sort of halfway through, there's that moment where you have the first gay marriage on TV, on the news broadcast, which we used the actual one, and it's that idea that at that point in time it was a big step to where we are today, and for people to say, we have moved on. And I think the more that people embrace that idea and are just out and proud and really just upfront about it, it's just going to make everyone's just going to have to accept it, aren't they? Like, I think the nice thing is that give it 10 years ago, you would never ever, like maybe ever see a gay couple out in the street holding hands openly. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. And now you see it, and it's just common, right? It's not even the thing you go, oh, they're both the same sex. You just see it and you're like, oh, cool. Whatever. You don't even second glance it. And I feel like this is a sort of almost, just cementing that how that's different now compared to during that time during the Second World War in it, where you would have glances and this idea that they had to keep the whole thing a secret, and they was almost like embarrassed at the fact that they had this relationship.
Yeah. Just one final question then for you before we wrap it up. So you have some really incredible actresses in this film. What was it like working with them, and how'd they get involved in the project?
So Miriam and Virginia, obviously absolutely incredible to have them on board, and it was well, I think what happened is I had a meeting with Bobby which is also really, and Bobby and Rosie and everything was also, incredible. And at the time, it was like, wow, we've got Bobby Lockwood, like I'd met him at a party because he was, he lives with my friend who's also, done a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. And as I was coming out of the meeting, we had obviously the script in hand, and we just walked past Miriam. She was just getting out of a cab going into like a cafe or something like that. And I said, "Oh, Carl, look, there's your favourite actress there, Miriam." She was like, "Oh my god, yeah, oh my god, that's amazing." And then I suddenly thought, "Hold on a minute, this whole thing is literally like aimed at, someone like herself." I said, "We've got the script in hand. We should take this opportunity to see if she'll be interested in just reading the script and giving us some feedback. And if she thinks it's awful, then we probably should do some rewrites, right? Because, like, and I think it's good, to get feedback." So, and it's like, it's a bit of an odd one, right? Because I feel like you shouldn't really want to approach celebs, even for like selfies and that, like a lot of them, I'm afraid, I know a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people, and they really struggle with privacy. So I was a bit kind of like not really sure whether we should, but I just thought it was a once in a lifetime chance where you'd see someone like, as magnificent as herself, literally like in front of us, and we happen to have the script on us to hand. So it was a bit like, sorry to bother you, but we've literally got this, and this is kind of aimed at your sort of audience. Can you just let us know if we're on the right track or not? And she read it through and just was like, "This is incredible, amazing, I love this. Who would you like me to play?" I was like, "A what?" Yeah, and so we kept in contact. And Virginia runs the Born Free Foundation, and Carla is a big animal rights advocate. We did a film last year about sort of trying to stop rhino poaching and getting banning the ivory trade in the UK, which she was actually a big part of actually successfully doing. And at one of the rallies, Carla was talking to her son, Will Travers, who runs the Born Free Foundation, and she was like, "Oh, Will, can you read this script? We're just, just getting feedback from people to see what people think." And he's like, "Oh, my mum would love this script. Can I send it to her?" She's great. And then Virginia was like, "Yeah, I'd love to be in and be in it." And I was like, "Well, obviously, the biggest classic actors of all time. Yes, you can be in the film. I'm pretty sure that's fine." And they both agreed to do it, and everyone did it for free. Everyone just did it for the love of it. And then and Rosie was the only actual person that we didn't really know personally. Well, obviously we didn't know Miriam, but we sort of bumped into her. But Rosie, we just sort of put a casting call out on Twitter, and someone who sort of had worked with her in the past said, "Oh yeah, I'd be interested in reading it." But yeah, so that was it really. It was just a bit of random chance and luck and knowing people and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, fate. Definitely. So that's all the questions I have. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about the film?
I would say give it a watch and enjoy it and see what you think.
Definitely. Yep. So Wings is playing at the Norwich Film Festival, and that will be on until the end of the month. Also nominated in the East Anglian category, so best of luck for that. And I think we're going to sign off now. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.